Hey everybody, what's going on? Phil here, and today we are going to talk about a game I had last weekend, Ariadna versus Military Orders playing Frontline. So, this is against Military Orders. I'm playing vanilla Ariadna, but first things first, we're going to talk about my list. So, I have taken Colonel Veronin. He has had a bit of a glow up in N5. Um, Not only being a little less expensive, but also having um, counterintelligence is very nice. He is inexpensive. However, his big base does make him a bit of a liability. And this will be the first time I've been playing him without chain of command, which is something I'm concerned about, as you can see from the list title. Um, Kind of the idea of this list before I dive deeper into it was to fit as many dogs or antipodes into a list as I could comfortably do while still feeling as competitively viable as possible. Okay, so first we have the Dozer and the Kybervolk. So the Dozer is kind of just there for the Kybervolk, but I think the Kybervolk is pretty cool. He's the king of disposable weapons with his trench hammer, chest mines, and crazy koala. Um, and I mean, I don't think it is an exceptional model, but for 12 points, it is very good. Next, I have the two dog warriors. They have been absolute all-stars for me in my Ariadna games thus far. I have played more Ariadna games than just this one, but they've been on TTS and I don't make videos of those. Their speed before getting into dog form is still fast because they can jump 6'6". This has been a huge boon to them. I remember playing them in N4 and thinking, I really wish I could just chain rifle myself in the toe and turn into a dog. And now that you can jump 6'6", you don't really need that. And then the three wounds are just great. And being able to walk through AROs that are now just one special dice, so really the most they can do is hit you once and turn you into a dog. I'll just jump through a single ARO with no worries. Then we have Bruant. He is really good. Opportunistically, can really go on a tear, and being a specialist is very nice. Of course, he's a camo marker, so that kind of adds to our shell game. Next, we have what I really kind of think of as a defensive trio here, but they have uses in active as well. So one huge thing that Ariadna has gotten in N5 is this Scout EM mine layer. So, of course, in Ariadna, we don't really have access to hacking. And so stopping something like Norkius or a Tag or a Sujuan, things like this that are really beefy but have huge susceptibility to hacking, that susceptibility is also to EM mines. So they are a great defensive piece. And then Chasseurs, I've only really started playing with them now. I really haven't encountered them too much in the past, but I really like them. The shock mine and the flamethrower are great on defense. And then even offensively, the ability to fork between the light flamethrower and the rifle is very useful. Then we have Mirage 5 to start off Group 2. I have not had great success with Mirage 5, but because I want to take antipodes, I included them in this list. I think there are two factors to my lack of success with Mirage 5. One, people are prepared for them. So especially against better opponents, they know it's coming and they deploy accordingly. Um, I also think that I'm just not great with them, and with time, I'm hoping I can improve. A little thing that really sparked my interest with N5, don't know what that's supposed to be, is this Dynamo Duo, which I think has been picking up a little bit of steam. I am online talking about the game quite frequently, and dynamos are something that I liked in TAC as a useful and inexpensive piece. And I had played them, and I remember there was one game where I tried to shoot smoke on their 12s, I think 6 times in a row, and failed every time. And I thought to myself, I will never play a dynamo again with intention to use its smoke unless it is in a Harris. But now with the special dice on a pure duo, this Dynamo duo really shines for me. Being able to put out smoke, which is now more less reliable in N5, but with the Dynamos being able to put it out for two 12s, one being the special dice, up to 24 inches, they can really smoke a path for the Dog Warriors. So, if Dynamos can smoke out a ARO, Dog Warrior can just jump its way to the opponent's DZ 6666, and then go to town. So I've been loving them and been dropping them as my two reserves, which I don't have to pay a command for because of Veronin. So not only do they have the smoke, they can go on an attack run. I have a specialist in this duo. And if I have extra orders in this group that I don't know what to do with, they can lay down mines with the double shot, and double shot is optional. So they can lay down one mine with a special die, then they can do another one with a special die, or I can just shoot them both at the same time and give a special die to one of them. So I've been loving this duo. And then just some cheap orders. The Barsuk is good for defending the DZ, and the Conductor is just a cheap order and very nice, comes with this template to defend himself. So that is my Ariadna list. And moving on to my opponent's list, he is playing military orders. And he has been hearing a lot about the Seraph, and he wants to go crazy with it. This is quite a list. I believe it is not eligible to be deducted from. He just has the 10 orders and then the 2 due to limited insertion. He just has the 10 orders and then 2 lieutenant orders from the Knight Commander. So the Seraph is definitely scary, especially for Ariadna, moving 8/8. It has been discussed that even if you put a switch on a tag, it is vulnerable to hacking because it could be total controlled, which switch on does not fix. But so he wants to play that, and then kind of just filling in the rest of the list to really shine with the Seraph. You have a Tick Balang that could take out any AROs that are problematic for the Seraph. You have a really nice Knight of Montesa Dua, both with the up-close boarding shotgun, and then the more mid-ranged Red Fury. These pieces, I think, are pretty inexpensive. They're very fast, good in CC, good at shooting, and I really like this duo. Then he just has a Tech Bee, and she is actually a pilot. So she is giving, I believe, both of these tags +3 to dodge and +3 to gizmo kit. So very nice inclusion for only 9 points, especially if you're having 2 tags, which I believe she buffs both of them. Really great inclusion. And then we have what will be a 5-man core. The real focus of this 5-man core is the Black Fire, who has Albedo and MSV2, I believe, as an ARO piece. And then you can just hide away this Knight Commander as another member of this fire team. All right. So those are the lists. So we make a lieutenant. Oh, here are our classifieds that we get for Frontline. So these are my opponents. You can take a look at that if you want. And then here are mine. I actually get some pretty good classifieds. So I am happy about that. So moving on to the game, we make the lieutenant roll. He fails and I succeed. So I win and I snap pick first turn because he did show off his Seraph before the game started and I knew he was going to take it. And I said, I do not want to try and deal with that and just pray that he runs into my EM mine. So I go first and he selects that far side of the table. And we get to deployment. So deployment on my side, I have a Dog Warrior here ready to move up the table. I have a Dog Warrior here ready to move up the table. We always play these buildings as infinite height, so I have a pretty good clear place to impetuous with both of these Dog Warriors. I forgot my Veronin model at home, and he was nice enough to lend me a remote, so we have Veronin here. Then we have a real Barsuk and a fake one here. I'm trying to get better about shell gaming with my camo pieces, and so putting pieces in less expected places, not putting camo pieces prone are the 2 big things I've done thus far to try and improve the shell game. Then we have the Dozer here, the Kyber Volk here. We have a Conductor here, just kind of hanging out. And then going into my camo, I have a chasseur here, his mine here, another chasseur here, his mine here, a scout here, and it's mine here. And the scout is standing up. The thought process with me leaving these camo markers standing is, of course, as I mentioned, the shell game, but also the opportunistic ARO opportunities. And I mean, yes, I think I would have to be a little more cagey if I was playing against um, vanilla combined and I was worried I might be facing an MSV3 Caronted. But other than that, if someone wants to spend orders trying to discover these, it's orders they're not spending getting into my guts and killing Veronin. So that is totally fine by me. So not on the table is my Dynamo duo and, of course, Margot and Duroc. Dynamos are my reserves. Onto my opponent's side of the table, his deployment, we have the Tech Bee here hanging out prone. We have the Tikbalang, who is taller than this in front, which he has put up on ARO. When he deployed this, I thought he might want to do it a little closer to the side so that he could guts. However, I think the Tikbalang is religious, and his thought process was that this Tikbalang is dodging on 14s. So if something takes a really terrible fight with it from this direction, it can dodge, and if it succeeds, get over here. And then if something is to come around this side and take a fight with it, it can dodge and take cover here. So I think that was actually a very well deployed tag. Then we have his 5-man core in here. I'm not sure exactly which piece is which. One of these is his lieutenant. I'm not sure which one. And then the other two pieces are here, which I don't recall exactly what they are. I know that one of them has a armed turret, and then he has the Black Friar up here, who has pretty dominant line of fire like this, watching over entrance to his DC here, watching down here, watching down here. Now he knows that this piece is likely to die standing up on ARO, but against my list, it is less likely and is really a thorn in my side. Then he has this Montesso duo here, and his reserve is going to be his Seraph, which he ends up placing here after I place my dynamos here. The thought process here was if I want to smoke the Tikbalang, I'll have the availability to do so. And I also have the ability to move up and place mines here. If I do that, then the Blackfriar arrowing will have to contend with a mine exploding on him, especially if he decides not to dodge. So that is deployment. Now we get into the order generation. I have 8 regular and 2 irregular in group 1. And then I want to say 4 regular in group 2. He goes ahead and, I tell him I have counterintelligence. It's kind of the thing that you run into it the first time. You don't know that counterintelligence is on Veronin, and then you never get fooled by it again. So I just tell him, and he decides to deduct 1 order from group 2. So I love that. I mean, I think taking an order from group 2 is probably smarter because, you cut your orders by 25% as opposed to 10%. And we get into it. Counterintelligence on Veronin feeling absolutely amazing. So take a while to ponder what I am going to do with my turn. And I think, maybe decision making will be a lot easier if I take out this Black Friar. So I decide to use the chasseur to do that. I move to here, the chasseur delays, and the Tikbalang discovers. With that, I move again, and the Tikbalang successfully discovers me. Okay, that's fine. I move to this corner here, prompting arrows again from the Tikbalang and the Black Friar. The Black Friar decides to dodge, and the Tikbalang decides to shoot. So with that, I take 3 shots at the Black Friar. I roll something like an 11, 11, and a 12, so 2 crits, and the Tikbalang hits me. My opponent aptly points out, I think you were within 8 that whole time. He is correct, and That means I missed all of my shots, and the Tikbalang puts unconscious the chasseur. Just a small lesson note to self next time, I can measure my zone of control next time after my second move. Just back out a little bit to get out of 8 and then move forward. I don't really care if I make it to there because I really just wanted to trade the chasseur for the Blackfire. Okay, so 2 orders down and my chasseur dead. Plan A didn't work. I think. And looking at his Tikbalang, I notice, and I ask him, is it correct that you are, facing like this? He says yes. I say, okay, so if I'm here, I'm behind you. He says yes. Okay, excellent. So Margot drops here. Tech B gets a number of dodges here, but he kind of just reshuffles back to here, doesn't decide to stand up and sacrifice the Tech B to Margot. So Margot has 3 orders here. She fights him the first time, I think puts a wound on him. He is able to guts and get behind and cover here. Then I spend the remainder of my 2 orders fighting him. He decides to dodge because we are within his 0 band on his HMG. And inconclusive, after all the orders, just 1 wound. Okay. So with that, I decide to get back to group 1. I have no other choice. What I do is the Kybervolk will move up to here with 1 order, moving 6/6. His next order, he'll come over back a little bit and come back, so he's still here. And he will place a Crazy Koala right about here, doing the same thing that I was planning with these Dynamo Mines. That Crazy Koala is absolutely threatening the Black Friar, and if he AROs, he will have to either dodge in order to escape the Koala or shoot and eat it. Excuse me, I forgot my impetuous orders. I had impetuous up to here with this dog. The other dog, you can't see it, but he had nudged himself in a corner. We'll just go back to show exactly where he is. So the dog has gone exactly into this corner over there. And we'll use this screen. So the dog comes up to here. So I had to move. Then I move to here, jump to here. Blackfire can't see me yet. I jump again. Get to there. The Blackfire does see me there. Get back to a better place to show the rest of this turn. And the Blackfire elects to dodge. I think he fails his dodge and makes his save. So then the dog comes around here. So the dog is there now. Next order, I jump to here. Drawing arrows from just the Tikbalang. The Tekbi cannot quite see me yet. The Tikbalang shoots me, puts on a wound, but I chain rifle in response, and he, with armor 6, unfortunately fails both saves and goes subconscious. Okay, with that, I am feeling good, and I decide to push for the kill. So the dog warrior now in dog form, after taking the wound, bases the Tikbalang, ask for arrows. We get dodges all around just from zone of control, and we get a flash pulse coming in like this from the Tekbi. I think about if I would be able to chain rifle the Tekbi and both of these guys here. However, because both templates must leave the model or be shot by the model at the same location on his path, I think I can't really. I might have been able to, but I don't want to squeeze it. So I put 1 chain rifle like this, hitting both of these models and hitting the Tikbalang, and I put 1 up like this, hitting the Tikbalang and the Blackfriar. The result of that is 1 more wound on the Tikbalang, putting it into remote consciousness or remote whatever. These 2 models go unconscious. The Blackfriar succeeds his dodge and is fine, and the Tekbi successfully stuns the dog. Okay, and I forgot, the Tikbalang is now more like here. Okay, so he's just from Rempres 1. So I want to put him down. So Bruant takes his time to shine. He moves to the corner, just peeking the unconscious Tikbalang, shoots and puts him to dead. And then he peeks out a little bit to fight the Blackfriar in the Blackfriar's bad range and kills him as well. And then with that, comes back to the middle here and goes into suppressive fire. So that is my turn. I have killed, I believe, 4 pieces. So these 2 guys, the Blackfriar and the Tickbalang. Having one of the 4 pieces you killed be a tag, I think is excellent. And with this being a limited insertion list, killing 40% of his order pool is something I am happy with. My only real loss is the Chasseur. I have a dog in his DZ that he is going to have to deal with and is a bit tanky. And even if he does deal with it, I'm not too upset if it dies. So this is what the table looks like at the beginning of my opponent's turn. So, be having only 6 of his 10 models still alive, my opponent decides to make the most of his order efficiency and elects to use his impetuous on his Montessas. So this Montessa moves up like this. This Montessa moves up like this. We have no AROs, and if he sees any camo markers, such as the Barsuk, I say, no ARO. He then reforms the duo, comes around the corner with the Red Fury, getting Jacques out of cover but maintaining cover himself. I elect to shoot with the bar. Oh, and excuse me. My camo markers, I said this was a mine. That is Jacques, and the Chasseur's mine is actually back here. Apologies for any confusion that might have caused. So when the Montessa comes around, it fights Bruant, and the Chasseur elects to reveal and light flamethrower. He elects to put 3 and a special dice into Bruant, and he just puts 1 shot into the Chasseur. The results there are a dead Bruant due to the shock, and the Chasseur pangs his armor save while putting 1 wound on the Montessa. He makes his second armor save as to not burn to death. Okay, with that, he decides to move on to other things. The Seraph has jet propulsion, so can super jump around corners. A lot of the people I've been playing with, and I know there's been a little bit of talk about this, have been playing super jump kind of how how we believe it was intended to be played, because of course, moving like this is a parabola, and so with the rules as written, super jump would be able to do that. The way we've been playing it is if you look at a super jump's path, from a bird's eye view, it must be a straight line. So that would mean you can't jump around corners like this. I hope that makes sense. We'll see if CB writes that into the rules, but just wanted to mention that. So the Seraph will take its first NCO order and super jump kind of like this, with the dog, I elect to dodge. The reason being, if I smoke, he can't shoot at me again. And if I just dodge, maybe I can soak up some more orders. That fight, I do maybe cancel a couple dice, maybe get hit once or twice. Maybe I dodge everything, but no, I definitely don't dodge everything because I'm not able to dodge. But the dog survives, taking no wounds. Next order, the Seraph moves around like this, shooting again at the dog, this time putting the dog unconscious. The Chasseur dodges and fails. Next, the Seraph is here. The remote kind of comes to here, threatening, the AP Spitfire from the Seraph and the flamethrower from the helper. The Chasseur dodges. I roll something like a 12, absolutely amazing, and succeed my dodge. I move closer to the Seraph in order to threaten flamethrower. He switches over to his Montessa, shoots the Chasseur, who is now out of cover, and puts it down. Then he comes up and sees my Kybervolk, who is now here. The Kybervolk elects to ARO to put a Koala here and just eat the shots from the Seraph, who puts him to dead. The reason I place the Koala is because I think dodging will just lead me to death, and the Koala now threatens both Montessas as the Red Fury Montessa was doing its killing. Before that, he had relinked them and moved this other Montessa here. So the Koala here is out of line of fire of the Seraph and threatening both Montessas. Okay, with that, the My opponent says, hey, I'm going to risk it for a biscuit. And he, see if I can get a best angle for this. I think I can. He jumps his Seraph up to here. The thought being, if he succeeds here, he's going to really get into the soft underbelly, and then possibly his next order take on and kill Veronin. So he jumps up to there. That drops a lot of AROs. The Dog Warrior here, chain rifles. The Berserk here reveals to heavy flamethrower. And the Scout reveals to take an Ohotnik shot and will be catching him out of cover. So he decides to put two shots into the dog, one into the Berserk, and one into the Scout, as well as the flamethrower into the Scout. And there is a mine here, as I mentioned, which also detonates on the Seraph. So what happens here is he puts two wounds on the dog, I think misses the Berserk. The Scout goes down to the flamethrower, but wins the face-to-face. He fails one save between the flamethrower, the chain rifle, and the mine. And the tier 2 glowed up Ohotnik puts the Seraph to unconscious. We didn't discuss this, but I think that if he had known that the Scout was tier 2, he might have made a different allocation of his shots. But he's a good sport and he's like, whatever, worry about it next time. So he's feeling a little more desperate now that both of his tags are dead. He decides to retreat with, I believe, is his last order with his Montessas. I elect to detonate on the wounded Montessa. He fails his dodge. The koala puts the Montessa to unconscious, and he says, you know what, we can just scoop it there. And I think that is fair. This is the picture at the end of his last turn. We have the unconscious Seraph here, the null Oxbot here, and then the now retreated but unconscious Montessa's over there. So overall, I think that I was happy with how this list performed. I think this could be one list that I bring to tournaments. I think it plays pretty well, and I really love the aesthetic of the antipodes. However, I do recognize how much easier this game could have been for me if I had had a gun, and more specifically, the Chernobog. I am working on a list to include the Chernobog, and we'll get a little play with that. One of the things that I have to sacrifice for that list is, of course, Mirage 5, but I think I also lose one Chasseur Mine Layer, so going second could be tough. And this is only the first game where I've attempted Vasily without Chain of Command. Even when I have brought Chain of Command, he hasn't died yet, including when I was going second. So we'll see. This is something I need to still get more time in to be confident with. But with that, that is my battle report. I am going to be playing Ariadna in N5, whether that be vanilla or Tartar Sauce Army Corporation has yet to be determined. I think Tartar Sauce Army Corporation is very strong, but we'll see. I'm playing Ariadna because I am not a coward. All right, that's been it, and I hope to see you guys in the next one. Thanks, everybody. Have a good one.